I think primarily it was on LinkedIn. I had been following yourself, Anna, for a while in terms of your work and what you do and your specialisms. And I think it just felt like a really good fit once I got to know more about the company and what they offer and also the ethos. Everything all just came together and it felt like the right option to pursue. And obviously, as I made more inquiries and got a sense of what I would have as a whole package, it just felt even more like the right option. I felt that I definitely wanted to be assessed and supported by neurodivergence. I felt that was really, really key in terms of having that lived experience. And so finding individuals who not only could bring that, but also who could understand a female perspective and a late diagnosed point of view, that was really key for me, just in terms of the empathy, understanding, and just sort of appreciating that actually it's not one size fits all and that there are sort of subtle differences to look out for. That was really important to me, so that I felt as though everything was accurate in terms of, the conclusion that was kind of arrived at. There was enough of an understanding there, and different cases. So yeah, I would say that was the main contributing factor to my decision. Definitely. I mean, I work in this area as well, and I think that what you can achieve by actually really understanding and living through the challenges, and also the really lovely things that occur, but actually being able to say, yes, I really do get it. I've been there, I am there. And I feel like it just creates a rapport so quickly, and the trust and just that kind of authenticity, which is really key for me, just to not have someone kind of cite theory and textbooks. That was really important. Yes, I think as an adult, it comes with a roller coaster of emotions, really. I think you've sort of got to the point where you've coped, in inverted commas, you're functioning. So you kind of wonder whether it's really necessary to kind of go down that route and what it will mean. But for me personally, I felt it was really key to be able to kind of not feel like I just wasn't sort of processing or responding in the way I should be, constantly doubting, feeling guilty. I felt I needed more clarity and understanding, and I felt it would help me to do my job more successfully as well. So the process was as smooth as it could be because of who I'd chosen, really. I feel like the support offered and just the way in which it was all done, the timelines, everything made it so much less kind of confusing, because I can see if you're a child and you've got this kind of support network around you, you've got your parents and carers, you've got your teachers, it kind of almost feels like, this is my team, this is what they think should happen, and you just sort of go along with the process. Whereas I think when you're an adult, you have so many, there's so much of a push-pull constantly. So to be able to kind of have that streamlined as much as possible was really great for me. And yeah, there were definitely some challenges and surprises along the way, which I'm happy to share. Yeah, definitely. I feel that the challenges in particular were kind of perceptions of others. What would my loved ones think? What would the wider community think? And it was just kind of almost feeling as though it was right for me. And luckily, my husband was very supportive. with the whole process, and my boys as well, both being neurodivergent, were kind of, yay, go mummy, and so that felt safe. But certainly beyond the four walls, it felt as though I may encounter some resistance. And I think especially being from the South Asian community, there's that added layer, the intersectionality, the barriers that you encounter when it comes to kind of talking about things like this, and also mental health and other sort of aspects. It's very different. And so that was a worry for me in terms of how it would be perceived. There were some surprises. I would say the main surprise was probably receiving the dual diagnosis. So the ADHD in there as well. I felt that with the autism, because I work with a lot of autistic individuals, I kind of felt that in itself was really more and more evident with me, and understanding sort of males and females. And so that all felt completely kind of almost expected. But having the ADHD element, I think because it had been misdiagnosed previously, and that, as we've talked about during our sessions, a lot of that was because of all of the masking and the side effects of that. That was something which I had to think about more, and sort of when it kind of came up, it obviously all makes sense now. And everything that I do on a daily basis all kind of sits there. But initially, it took me time to sort of process, because I think older females in particular also present quite differently with the ADHD. And my younger son having just ADHD, that was kind of what I was seeing on a daily basis. And so coming to understand that maybe some of what we do as females is perhaps more inward rather than outward. Some of our behaviors can be quite different. That was a really sort of enlightening process to go through, but also one that I perhaps didn't expect at the time that I was seeking out this kind of assessment. So yeah. Yes, definitely the support sessions. I think those were really key. Having them before to be able to kind of piece everything together, just being able to talk about it all. And I think going back to what we were saying about being diagnosed as an adult, you're having to fill in a lot of gaps. And if you don't have people who can provide those answers, so for example, sadly, my mum passed 16 years ago, and we were very close. So she would have all of the answers in terms of little things that I did, little things that I said, little things that I came home with. I'm close to my dad as well, but I think that kind of relationship that I had with my mom was one of we talked a lot. So for me to then have to, during the support sessions, I was almost sort of reflecting back and trying to think about examples specifically with not having that person in front of me. So having yourself, Anna, was, a bit of a beacon of light, where actually it didn't matter that I didn't have that framework or that reference point. We could talk about it. We could say, what about when this happened, or what about here? It all started to make sense. So I think those support sessions were really key, and afterwards as well, to be able to kind of process the diagnosis and reflect on the way forwards. I think it's it's a mixture, really. It's kind of almost thinking, how did I cope all of these years? So a little bit of remorse, a little bit of sort of grief in terms of, gosh, imagine if all of those individuals had known, the people who I came across, and that I wasn't actually just being difficult or, opting out of certain things. There was a reason behind it, and there was a reason why I sometimes maybe needed to go inwards, and would just come across as perhaps, I've been called too intense or too deep, or, that was just me processing everything. And so there was a little bit of that sort of, oh gosh, imagine if, but then it was almost, well, yay me for managing to cope as I did without any targeted support or strategies. I managed and I'm doing okay now. And now I can use this newfound understanding to go through these next steps. So then the emotion that comes with that is definitely hope, determination, a feeling of, imagine what I can do now and going forwards. It's almost like this extra armor that I have to be able to, just go forward and just hopefully do some great things. And so, yeah, it's a real mixture, but definitely one that a process I'm very glad that I went through. Definitely, I would say that I allow myself more downtime when needed. I plan out very differently. So I really do need to get some time to myself each morning and think through what the day looks like, any challenges that may come up, and how I would kind of cope with those unexpected things. So, for example, it's the summer holiday right now and it's not as structured and we're a bit off routine. So making sure that I understand what that entails. So planning, downtime, noise cancelling headphones, they've been an absolute godsend for me. And I have no qualms with putting those on if I'm out somewhere, if I'm shopping and it's all a bit much. I'm definitely kinder to myself and not worrying too much about how I'm coming across. So I think in our sessions, we've talked a lot about masking, which may have occurred previously. I'm definitely working on that. Actually, this is me. This is what helps and what doesn't. And that's okay, So it's kind of a combination of all of those things. And I think as time goes on, I'll probably discover more tools because it's still quite recent in terms of, so I'm hoping to expand that toolbox. Definitely listen to your gut in terms of what it's telling you. If you're feeling as though you need more clarity and understanding, you know that your brain works slightly differently, you know that you don't always fit the mold and that actually, your thought processes are not always conventional. I think just allowing yourself that opportunity without worrying about how it's going to be perceived, why will people say, why do I need this label now? Or, what is the need for sort of going down this route? You're fine. You've been fine. As long as you sort of ignore that side of things and just think about what you need. And I guess to an extent, you have to be a little bit selfish because actually you deserve that, and if you find the right provider, which I fortunately did, that will potentially change your life, and I think having had a cancer diagnosis myself a few years ago, I know how precious life is. I know that actually it's you've got to seize moments and opportunities that allow you to make things better. And this has definitely made things better for me. I think just to understand that even with any information that you come across about neurodiversity or neurodivergence specifically and how they present, having an open mind and actually challenging the stereotypes, because I feel that actually there are some similarities, but there are also so many differences. And so being able to appreciate that and sort of look at each individual on a kind of almost on an individual basis, and respecting and supporting what they may share with you, because I feel like there's a lot out there especially with social media and various other platforms. So wading through all of that and actually talking to individuals themselves who've been through it and just asking them lots of questions in terms of, so is this how you feel, or is this how you respond, or how does this work for you? And just expanding our minds to all the possibilities. I just think, that's what I love about doing what I do, because, there's never a right or wrong. There's always that gray area. I think that's what I feel that's really key. I feel that actually that could make all the difference for us, when already at times it can feel quite isolating. So to be accepted in that way, and understood, I think could really change things for a lot of people. Thank you really to Autistic-Thoughts, to yourself, Anna, and just kind of, individuals like you who are trying so hard to defy the stereotypes and really think about what we're capable of. So just, feeling empowered and hoping that others will feel the same.